everybody? Construction Dirt Podcast again, back this week for another episode. Really excited. Joined again, once again today with my good friend, Jeff Knobloch.
Here in the flesh,
rocking and rolling. Spoiler alert, I did accidentally push the mute the microphone button earlier, but we're back in action here.
It's a good thing it's just us today, no guests.
Good thing it's just us today.
It would have been embarrassing.
It would have been super embarrassing, for sure. Construction Dirt Podcast back again. Really excited to be with you guys one more time here. Big shout out to the sponsors. JK Worldwide for all your construction necessity needs. Yeah, so as Jeff mentioned, just Jeff and I kind of just shooting the shit, chatting a little bit this week. How are you today, Jeff?
I'm doing great.
That's good.
It's been a good start to the week. Officially fall. Still kind of feels like summer.
Yeah, I enjoy the fall though. I love it. I mean, you're kitted up in the hoodie.
I am so sweaty and hot in this hoodie. It was not the right decision today. It's not yet fall for me.
There was one time I had a cousin's husband. He came to I think it was Thanksgiving dinner, and he had this wool sweater on.
Oh goodness.
And I was and it was decent, I think, for the morning, probably, kind of chilly, but then afternoon, it started getting warm, sun's coming through, and he had no shirt on underneath or anything like that, and you could just see him, sleeves are rolled up, past his biceps, and he's just you just see him, turning redder and sweating. I just felt so bad for the guy, so.
I don't have sweaters.
All about the layers.
That reason.
All about the layers.
Yeah.
All about the layers. Yeah. No, I enjoy the fall time is just so, it's crisp in the mornings and spectacular. And
leaves starting to change color.
Yeah. Yeah. It is the time though where you lose hoodies.
Yes.
The amount of hoodies I lost on job sites back in the day. I had this really sick Carhartt one. It was lime green with the safety stripes. I didn't have to wear a safety vest with it. It was all in one. Yeah, I hit 9, 10 o'clock and I took it off and I hooked on something and then just never went back to get it and it was gone. Somebody snagged it.
For sure someone's grabbing that.
Yeah, no, definitely it was unfortunate for sure.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Okay.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah.
I like that. That's a whole Jim Carrey reference. We were
just talking about that. Yeah. Jeff and I just found out that we're essentially aging out of stuff.
It's one of those things you didn't really know. And I mean, you don't have to have kids to have that realization.
Fair enough.
Talking to the kids about some of the classic movies that I saw back in the day. I mean, it did start. I was at the Seahawks game. I saw a Ray Finkel jersey. And the individual I was there at the game with had no idea when I yelled at the laces out for Ray Finkel. And had to explain Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and then I got into when I was trying to get my kids to watch that movie and show them the preview, and they're just like, we want no part of that. This isn't funny. This is weird. What's wrong with that individual? Yeah. Why is he making those weird expressions with his face?
We were in the office talking the other day about iPhones and Blackberries and the old dial-up internet and
kids these days.
Yeah, we're starting to age out a little bit.
So is that something BCIT they should be learning about old technologies that old guys in construction talk about?
They should teach them how a fax machine works for sure. I might sit in on that class because I actually also don't know how a fax machine works.
I was a little sad. This latest photocopier printing machine that we got no longer has the fax capabilities. So RAM construction can no longer send or receive faxes.
Oh, God.
Our caretaker would use it once a year to send in certain forms back east that needed to only be faxed to the government or something. I think you can still go to the post office and do it that way.
Yeah.
You pay 50 cents a page and they'll fax it out. But
I had to mail, I renewed my passport recently and I had to mail the passport off to the passport office. And I was running around the house, do we have stamps? Where do I get a stamp from?
Where's the nearest post office?
How many do I have to put a stamp for each province it crosses? Or and I think the last time I did that, I think was when my oldest daughter, when Lila was born, we had to mail off her birth registry stuff. When the second one was when Paisley was born, it was all online. But yeah, that was the first letter I ever mailed. Was when I was 21, 22 years old.
So maybe that's a future rabbit hole one though, but and I mean, the technology's gone so far since, but a fax machine, how do they get that piece of paper into the line and it shoots, right?
They roll it up really, really tightly.
Totally. Like the Costco tubes where they put the money in the tube and it shoots it away.
Coca-Cola. Remember the Coca-Cola toll bridge? And you used to that was fun. Yeah. The mail thing for me just scares me because it's just 100% blind trust. 100% blind trust. You're just here's hoping I put the right address on it.
And the guy that delivers it, guy or girl, is actually going to take it there, or the address is right.
Fell out of my pouch today onto the ground.
Sorry.
There goes my passport.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
I still do get mail, but not like, when's the last time you got like a letter or a postcard or something that wasn't just like...
Bree's grandma mails her a birthday card every year.
Okay.
My realtor emails Bree and I both birthday cards.
Emails or mails?
Mails.
Okay.
Mails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's still, I mean, honestly, as a kid, I still like getting mail like that. Like,
I get so disappointed when you open the fucking thing and it's just all like flyers and junk mail. Like I got a neighbor, he puts them back in the to mail slot.
Yeah.
Like when he takes the flyers out, he puts them into the other
Just jams
slot.
them in there.
Shoves them in
just
there.
Out of spite.
Yeah, like just a disaster.
Pretty passive aggressive. I'm
Very
sure that's
passive-aggressive.
gonna make them stop.
It's gonna backfire at some point on him. He'll get a little note in there or something like that. Yeah, too funny. Yeah, so construction talk. Yeah, some exciting things that I've seen in the last couple of weeks here. So I think we talked earlier about some of the infrastructure projects in BC really coming to the forefront on like showcasing some of the cool things that they're doing and really, getting in there with the nitty gritty and stuff like that. Broadway subway tunnel, I think, was one that we've been talking about. And it's funny because I saw a bunch of social media pictures about Mammut Cranes had a 500 ton set up on Broadway, pulling out Phyllis and Elsie, the tunnel boring machines, out of the hole. And so I saw a bunch on social media and I was like, oh, that's cool. Friends of mine that are in the industry and stuff like that. And then recently, probably in the last 2-3 weeks or so, they actually put together a full video, and I'm pretty sure Takeoff did it. Jason did it, but it was a like full on edited video of, how they're taking it apart and like how it's coming off and stuff like that. Really cool, really neat to see, the cutting head getting like unbolted from the thing. And actually there was another one on the same channel with the Broadway subway thing. And they did like an employee, like snapshot into an employee's life. And it was the guy that replaced, well, I think he's like a maintenance guy for the tunnel boring machine, but he was like replacing one of the rollers on like the conveyor belt that like takes the material back all the way to the Northern Way station. And I was just like, that's so cool. Like this guy's like unbolting the big like red roller on the thing. And
so is that LinkedIn type thing? You see the post, it disappears, or is there like somewhere someone could go and actually still go look that up?
I'm pretty sure the Broadway subway tunnel, I'd have to fact check this one, but I believe they have like a Twitter account.
Okay. So you can Google
there, all that stuff. And I know they have a website as well.
Because that's one thing.
Or YouTube channel.
Yeah. Like it's getting that out there. Cause like, yes, like I'm on LinkedIn. I follow however many people I follow on LinkedIn. You get those feeds, but like, someone outside of construction that might want to see that, or I don't want to say might want to see it, find it fascinating or cool, or maybe get them excited about construction.
We're talking about my dad. Like, he loves seeing that stuff. He's on a construction, never was.
But unless you send that to him, like, hey, check this out.
He would never see it, right? And so
I guess you could say about every industry, though, like if you really wanted to focus on a certain thing.
Yeah. But I think it's just putting those, like I think it's really cool they're putting those together. I mean, it's taxpayer funded, but like putting those together to, just showcase, that it's pretty neat stuff, right? So I think also, why are they shutting down Broadway?
This is why it's a disaster down here. Do you see the size of this crane and the process that we have to do here? Yeah, I can see a lot of that. Just watch our videos, and then that's why you can see why we're delayed.
Look at this. Oh my God, it's crazy. And then I also did see Mammut had, I don't even know what size of crane it was. It was like a 16,000 ton crane or some damn thing. And like the counterweight is like sea cans that hang from like a ballast, like cables from the back of the crane. And then it's set up on like a ring, so it can only like spin around. It takes like 4 months to put the thing together. It had 2 masts coming up. It was pretty cool.
So what's that crane one being used for?
I think it was built for some tank farm stuff, I want to say. Yeah. It was kind of by a port.
Oh, so
I think they just set it up to like showcase it.
Yeah, what they could do and how it would work.
Yeah, because they had the big one. There was a massive one at BC Place when they did all the
re-roof
at BC Place. Yeah. They had a massive one in there too, same kind of deal. So yeah, it's cool. Super neat stuff. I mean, I'm just a crane guy in general.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think probably if you look at all our podcasts, there's been some comment on crane.
Some comment on a crane. Cam's just all about the cranes.
Sunrise pictures from the crane guy.
Sunrise pictures from the crane guy. Yeah. Shout out to James Andrew, full sheets over there on Instagram, showcasing everybody's cool shots. Yeah. And then there was another one. I mean, spoiler alert, crane.
Wow. Oh, really? Tell me more.
Weird. No, there was a video I saw on social media. Guy climbed the Pattullo Bridge crane.
Okay. Yeah.
Snuck into the job site. Climbed all the way up, and he was like, like you could see like the
thrill seeker kind of guy.
Yeah, like a thrill seeker dude, middle of the night. And you could see like the red bulb flashing for like
getting sweaty palms. Just thinking.
I know. I was gonna say I don't want to get too far because you're gonna start getting the shakes over here. Yeah, I thought that was cool. The whole project's cool. Though.
Yeah, I got to be a passenger going over the bridge for the first time, the Pattullo Bridge.
Oh,
so I got to like
really
actually
look.
like just glued to the window looking. It's cool shit.
I got a friend of mine, a guy I went to high school with, is a welder. Just randomly on Instagram, apparently he's working on the bridge. They're like dropping sections of the beam, like the main beams in, and then they put the cable stays on them and then put the decking on it. But yeah, he had a post. He was like right out there sitting on one of the beams.
Yeah, I wonder that. Like you sign up for that, you're working however many feet in the air.
Yeah, over top of the river.
Right.
I mean, you don't need for a life jacket at that point.
No, oh my goodness. Well, because I saw that one middle section that I don't think they're working on it right now. I mean, there's a porta potty on the top and some rebar cage sticking out. I was like, no, guys, they get up there every day.
They go there.
That's where where you are for the day. Like,
yeah, it's
said. I mean, I'm not good with heights, but that's just that different animal. I mean, it's cool though.
It is cool. I enjoy
getting in the fall. See what it's like on a day where it's just hammering rain.
Sideways rain, 2 degrees. Yeah, just a disaster climbing up the
cool stuff though.
Yeah, no, for sure. I always love like most part like the highway projects and like how they phase them. And like where you drive here and then where you drive there and like how to like
for sure
how to go over this one and like how are they going to put that together? Where's this piece
when they were
go?
redoing the Nordell interchange there here by our office, and like I was like, okay, I'm going to try to remember how I used to get to the office.
How many people got lost?
Oh my goodness. I mean, not appreciating that, hey, client or person, come to our office, and it's just...
Don't use Google Maps.
No,
because it just changed yesterday.
And
it's going to change
read the
tomorrow.
sign, but quickly read it because it's either River Road West or East, and you might go under the bridge, but you might not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly, like I go back, I can't visualize how
it was before. No.
But also that every day you could still drive that road as they were building the roads and the overpasses and the interchanges.
Switch you over here and then do some work over here. And
over the weekend you come back Monday and it's like, oh, we're on the new road now.
Yeah. Well, that was that one. Well, done Bridgeview, right over Old Yale, where all of a sudden, like a Friday afternoon, I was driving back, and it was just typical. And then Monday morning, all of a sudden, now they have like the overpass over Old Yale open now. And it was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I mean, it is a ridiculous amount of road construction right now, and I know it's always the summer of every year, but just the major arteries right now that are all getting done at the same time, and that impact on traffic, everyday life is and I mean, I know everyone's going back to work now with return to work, but it's crazy. It's crazy. But a lot of cool stuff to look at if you are a passenger, not driving.
Definitely. Yeah, just don't try going down Fraser Highway at all.
Oh, coming back from downtown on Oak Street, it was like 11:30 at night, and like the guy with the big excavator just ripping down the lane and changes his bucket, gets his scoop and dumps it in. The Bobcat's putting the dirt in the hole. The guy's got the pipe. I was like, man, this is efficient.
Yeah.
Also, there's still 5 or 6 guys standing around just watching, but I was just like, man, this is pretty cool because like, and you know, it was post event, so there's a lot of traffic, but like these guys are just right there doing it, and 10 feet, 15 feet down in a hole. Like
it's crazy.
It was cool, but all this gonna be like that for the next 2-3 years,
right? One day it'll be better.
Right.
One day it'll be better.
All of these amazing opportunities for construction, and how you can get into it. Start somewhere and you end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. One last one, though, I did see was some big time stuff with the water flowing through the Site C Dam. I mean, I've followed that one for a long time.
So is this like the official, it's working now kind of thing?
Yeah, well, they're filling up the back end, reservoir holding tank for it. But yeah, there was water flowing through it. There was some social media posts about that. And so, I mean, it's super controversial and super plagued with a bunch of shit. And we don't need to get into that. You know, just, I mean, the overall size of that project.
Do you think anything has to do with the election coming up? Why that water's, hey, look at it, it's done.
Look, they're not even making power out of it. They're just putting water through it to make it look good.
Right.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, no, the progression in construction. Yeah. One of the big things that we wanted to talk about today was just, you know, career progression. Interesting times where, you know, construction is such a cool, I mean, a lot of industries are the same, but I mean, we obviously focus on construction and just coming in and starting your construction career somewhere and then having the opportunities to be able to just progress into whichever lane you really want to go in. I think it's really cool to see that progression, you know, from a, you know, personally, I mean, I was an apprentice carpenter for, you know, started on the shovel and a jackhammer years ago, right? You know, could have stayed doing that, could have stayed being a site super, you know, I could take a PM route, could have taken a project coordinator route, you know, and then even office people coming in, you know, and maybe a project coordinator, and then they want to do estimating, and then they end up being the greatest estimator of all time. And it's such a neat industry because the background of it is all the same. You know what I mean? Like it's all construction, and it just depends on what facet of it you enjoy and you want to progress on. Right?
Well, for sure. And I mean, that's a lot with the guests we've had on. So like Clint, Joe, Dylan, like where they started and where they've ended up, or where they are now, or I shouldn't say ended up, because some are still doing their thing and still got a lot of career to go, and who knows where it's going to go. But yeah, everyone has a different start point and a different reason to get into the construction. But then like trying to stay in there or making sure you make that right choice can be difficult. So let's say a younger person in their 20s that gets into construction versus someone in their 40s that's getting into it for the first time. And I know some have done career changes at that stage, 40, 50, and get into construction, possibly not the field side of it, but more of an office role. But yeah, so like, I guess, Cam, what is, I don't want to say a recommendation, but a good piece of advice for someone that starts in it, but maybe isn't sure they wanted that to be their career?
Two avenues for it, I think, it's a twofold answer. You know, on my end, I think I was always told, put your time in, put your time in, work hard, and, gain that experience and become the best that you can be at that level or that role you're in to really get that knowledge base. Because you think of yourself, let's say an apprentice carpenter, and all of a sudden he's like, I want to be a super in like a year. It's like potentially, but you should really work on becoming the best apprentice carpenter, the best ticketed carpenter you can be, right? And then utilizing that knowledge and that experience you gain throughout that time to then be the best super you can be, right? And then, I'm the best super. I need the biggest projects. I need to be on the biggest stuff. I want to go do the biggest towers. Work on becoming that really good, super coordinated, logistically organized site super, so that you can put your best foot forwards when you go make another jump or another leap, progression, essentially, right?
Well, I think that's great, and that to get there, that communication needs to happen. Yeah, I mean, there's different reasons for why you want to get there. Some is money driven, some is ego driven, some is just self-awareness or self-pride, and I want to be the best at what I can do. Yeah. But then to get to that spot, you do need some help. Yeah. Or definitely. I mean, sometimes you do just luck out and you just kind of fall into the spot because that opportunity opened up and you take that step. But I feel for a rewarding, satisfying transition up, it's best to have that communication.
For sure.
Either with yourself or the people that you reach out to, or your support group or employer, or
and have that in that communication, that almost backing of somebody like telling you, you're ready, or the other side of it is no, you're not ready. Take that feedback and really, really push on that, because I think it's detrimental to personal growth, like from a personal standpoint, as well as from a industry standpoint,
like almost moving too fast,
that fake progression, because it will catch up to you.
Well, there's times where in the construction industry, anyone can get a role because the roles are needed, and you might not need to have that skill set that you should have, or potentially
and
would be
more
better
so
at.
and more so now than ever, to be completely honest with you. I just feel it's way more prominent now than it ever was. I think that, again, for people listening and just people wondering, where they're at and what they want to do, take your time and really become the best that you can of where you're at before you move forwards. Like that, we were talking earlier, that knowledge base that you gain, even if you think it's just a carpentry thing. Yeah. Oh, I could put this wall up. Well, as a site super, you might have to figure out how to logistically schedule the formwork guy. And if you have no idea how the formwork goes together, how are you supposed to logistically schedule that scope? Totally. Right?
No, it's... Yeah. So are we just giving our kids advice right now because our two followers are...
Our two followers are two children? Shut your mouth. No, it's...
Just hit my head on that mic. Wow,
you watch yourself. Watch yourself. You're going to hit your head on the floor in a minute. Going back to your question before, I think there are some days that are kind of dark and grim in construction. And... I tell a lot of people this story. There was like a week in my career, probably a month or two in, driving to work, and honestly, it's December, January, and like the windshield wipers are going that speed that like they never go at. Yeah. And I was like, man, what am I doing with my life?
When I get to the site, I'm getting out of my car and going to go and like, stand out there. Yeah.
Did I like dry out my rain gear? And like, is it going to be wet when I get there? And like, oh man, I'm in the rain all day. And there are those times. But, you know, I think it's important for people that are thinking that to then also understand that there's great growth in their career and there's a lot of cool places that they can go. And I had a rugby coach one time, and he used to say, you got to put the hard yards in. Put the hard yards in. I related a lot to sports, essentially, for a lot of things. And I played a lot of rugby, and I was a forward in rugby, and there was backs in rugby. And, you know, the forwards we always did the hard work, always did the hard yards. And you do that hard yards, and then it's a team, and you win the game. You know what I mean? And, you know, it relates to your personal life where you're just, you know, put in the hard work, get through it, because there are greener pastures. You're better for that, you know, that life experience in general, right? So,
yeah, I know we too, like just some of the colleagues in the past, we, you know, have missed out on opportunity for either positions or growth just because they didn't think they needed to say like, well, you should know that I wanted to do that. It's like, well, no, how does someone know that you want to take on more of an opportunity or more of a step? And we've also had people we work with that have thought about it, talked about it, and then realized that maybe the role that they're at is where it is or best for them right now. Not saying that in the future that other role might be there, but hey, you're really valuable at what you do right now. And I think it'd be best for everyone if you stayed in this role, knowing that you want to get to a different role at some point.
For sure.
But this is what you're good at. So why don't you, as you said earlier, be the best at what you can do? And
push forward from there.
I like that when people embrace that and realize that. Definitely. You know.
Because it's, and I mean, I think it's the time frame, and, you know, even in this day and age with, you know, younger people that come up and they're, you know, everything's so instantaneous, right? Like, you know, back in the day, if I want to Google something, I'd have to go home at the end of after school and
hope I remembered what I wanted to Google.
Hope I remember what I wanted to Google, and then
get the dial-up internet.
Going,
if you don't know what that is, you need to look that up yourself.
You need to look that up yourself. But yeah, and it's just so instantaneous, and so I think people transfer that to a lot of different aspects in their life, and it's unfortunate because that time piece is so critical to just take a step back and really embrace where you're at, right? And so, yeah, it's neat. It's interesting vibe, that's for sure.
So, I mean, I've told you know this story. My father, ticketed carpenter, started in the field and then ended up starting a construction company with no business experience. So he is a ticketed carpenter by trade. And I know before you were doing some of the presentations at the school, he would go and give a presentation. It was just a little farther removed from the age gap on the class. But I remember him coming back and saying, man, there was two kids there that just thought that was so cool that I got my ticket and I don't practice carpentry now.
And I'm running a company.
And he hoped that inspired them to realize that is a great stepping stone or a great opportunity to get into something. I mean, we've had people work here that are great at what they do, project managers, coordinators, and then get to a point where they're like, construction isn't for me. And I think of the one individual that then went and started his own business that was out of construction. And I mean, I sucks to lose him, but I just thought that was pretty inspiring that he used it. Realized that construction industry wasn't for him, but did all the schooling, all the backing, was very good at what he did. But then went and applied his skill set somewhere else.
And then people with that, I mean, that entrepreneurial spirit too. I mean, I had a friend of mine, he worked for a concrete cutting company for a long time. And, you know, he was just like, you know, like I should make a run at this myself. Like kind of like Steve did. Right. And like, I mean, honestly, he bought one coring rig and just drove around Campbell Heights and just randomly coring for people. And there's the entrepreneurial part of it as well. Right. So I just love the industry and how there's so many different options. Office, field, that knowledge base stays the same.
So. Well, and then I expand the construction industry. I know it blends a bit, but there's the realtor side of it, the development side of it, the financing side of it, and those are all key parts of the construction industry yet are considered their own. And I do know someone that, you know, started in construction with a contractor and then ended up going to a developer. Another one that ended up at a quantity surveyor type application as well. So
I met a guy the other day, a while back now. He's at a developer and he was a laborer. I think he was a carpenter for a bit. now he's, like a project director for a development firm. He was just like, Cam, I just didn't like it on the job site. He's like, really thankful for my time there though. Cam was like, honestly, really thankful for my time in the field. I had, got to learn the ins and outs of what goes into actually building a building. And now I utilize that knowledge base from, a higher level from a developer standpoint. Right. And so there's so many different avenues to go down for sure.
Yeah. We just got to get our podcast off to the school age kids.
I have a school thing tomorrow.
Perfect. Let's drop the Construction Dirt podcast QR codes.
I'll drop some cards off. Yeah. No, I have a presentation to a trades class tomorrow.
All right. That's the one that I was too old to go to, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like my dad. Back when I was in school.
Listen here, kids.
25. I was talking to a client today. We were talking about it wasn't that long ago. I was like, hey, we built that building in 2003.
Yeah.
That's easy math, this year. Well,
carry the 2, divide by 6. Yeah.
Just got the noted. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
This is like dead airspace now.
This is that dead time where...
Okay, quiz time for Cam.
Jeff's got some quiz times.
Quiz time. This came from a friend of mine in Ontario, Toba, Ontario.
Oh.
So it's like, I don't know if it's fair to ask.
Can you say a friend of ours?
A friend of ours.
Friend of ours. I feel like I'm looped in there a little bit.
Glenn from Toba, Ontario.
Shout out Len Overbeek.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I should also say Sean as well. Sean Hickey with Towal.
Right on.
So since the gurus of tilt, right? They are the gurus of tilt in the East. And I like to say we'll say one of the gurus of tilt in the West.
Sure.
BD's right up there with their tilt knowledge. Yep. When was Tilt Up actually invented, Cam? I mean, it's not really fair to say the exact year, but...
I'm going to go with late 70s. 76.
My goodness. A little disappointed there. You got to go way back.
Oh, this is like 40s?
Pre-World War I type era.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I kind of knew this because I would do a lot of presentations on Tilt Up and when was it invented, right?
Yeah.
Robert Aiken, 1908, got the patent for Tilt Up construction.
Really?
The Schindler House, I believe, in Hollywood.
Interesting.
First tilt.
Really?
And
1908.
He cast his large panels, yeah.
What did he use for a crane? Like ropes and pulleys and shit?
Right. Mahmood cranes was around. No.
Mahmood.
That's funny. But no, yeah, and it was a house, which full cycle, Len and Towal, they are developing
residential
tilt houses.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there you go. I quizzed you.
For sure it was like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, no, way before. I mean, okay, now, wow. Oh, no. So my father had his own, started Ram in 1986. Right. And then they've been doing tilts before that.
I thought maybe like 15 years.
Okay, that's
maybe?
Kind of a good guess, though, because that technically in this market.
Give me a little bit.
Okay, well, depending on what the question was. But yes, in this market, because there used to be the stitch panel type method.
Yeah.
And I guess that was a very good. Because
it goes back to the early Weiler days.
True. So 1908 was the first one, but yes, it wasn't prevalent and being used everywhere until probably a little bit later, which was roughly maybe in your era.
Probably around the 70s.
When I'm going to do some more research at the upcoming TCA event on the history of Tilt Up.
Yeah, even like the local market here in BC. Where did that?
I would say then you were probably around that time frame because I know my father did one of the first tilts on Anasis, and that was mid to late 70s, just before he started the idea of RAM and starting that up. But it's cool though. I run into others that are my generation, second generation contractors. It's interesting because kind of grew up in the same idea of me and what construction was like in the late 70s, early 80s, and just seeing the names and hearing them, and now seeing basically the kids taking over the businesses and running them. I just think it's super cool.
Super cool.
It's a lot to be said for second generation contractors. That
Tommy Boy.
Right? The segment of Tommy Boy. So that is the other movie that I tried to get the kids to watch. I was like, you guys have to see Tommy Boy. You have to see Tommy Boy. I mean, the side story of it, my friends used to call me Tommy Boy. If you guys don't know the movie, you guys can look it up yourself. But basically, heir apparent son that was taking over the company. Yeah. Callahan Motors, I believe. So but yeah, and I was like, okay, kids, let me at least show you the preview. Like, I'll show you the preview. If you like the preview, we'll watch it. Yeah. And halfway through the preview, I was like, I got no fucking chance that these kids are going to want to watch this movie.
No.
It's hilarious, though.
But so many good companies that are, like you say, second generation, that they haven't skipped a beat. in, their core values and their, their beliefs and what they set out to achieve and accomplish. Right. And I think that speaks volumes to the industry in general, and just how, again, going back to that knowledge base, like it's construction. Yeah. And, there's people love it and people enjoy it, and that's why they do it. And, it's really cool to see the generations continue that on. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the opportunity's there, and why wouldn't you take it on if that's there? But you got to have that love for it.
For sure.
But
and knowing if you don't, then don't continue it.
Oh, totally. And then I'll go down the history thing, driving around, and you see, that building was built 45 years ago or 30 years ago by Ram, and then that one had this random story on it, and this one had a random story.
They all have random stories.
Yeah.
They all have random stories.
I think it's cool, too. Been reached out to by second-generation clients. So
that's right.
Your father built a building for my father back in the 80s, and I'd like you to build one for me now, or renovate that original building, and I just love that stuff.
That's super cool. That's super cool.
So what was the quote story from Tommy Boy, though? You can put a piece of shit in a box and stamp guarantee on it. At the end of the day, it's still a shit in a box. Talking about value, like, hey, we guarantee all our work. Well, then why would you have to guarantee it?
Yeah. Shit in the box.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, man, I love that movie.
I'm going to have to watch it.
Have you not?
I have never seen it.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No.
Please
I'm
watch it. Man, I've given you like 5 different movies you got to watch.
I'm going to watch the preview and then just like not
okay,
watch
it. Let me find like instead like best clips from or something.
Oh, one of those.
David Spade, Chris Farley, man. Those two when they get going.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah, I mean, Chris Farley in general, for sure. That's too good. That's too good.
Nothing to do with construction, though.
Nothing to do with construction, though.
Auto
but
parts.
I mean, too much fun.
Yeah.
Too much fun. That's sweet. That's awesome.
Who we got coming up in the near future?
Coming up in the near future, we have a gentleman from a glazing company coming in. We got Mr. Matt Scobie from Concept Aluminum coming to join us next time. If these come out in order. I don't know if they do.
Oh, yeah, maybe we aren't supposed to do that. We can edit this out and just say,
I have need to edit it out.
The AI voice of different name of guest.
Name of this guy. But yeah, we got some guests coming up. It's going to be fun. Trying to get a couple crane operators. I'm on the hook with. They're on the hook. So,
are we going to talk more about cranes next episode, Cam?
I just keep it going.
What's the newest in the crane world?
I mean, maybe the excavator stuff. There's an excavation guy that I did want to have on as well. Yeah, that would be a fun one. Talk about earthworks and stuff like that
for sure.
And then electrical. Honestly, for me, one of the trades that just really I know a little bit about. I feel like some of the trades, like structural steel, there's an I-beam, there's Wilson joist, you bolt it together, you weld it together, call it a day. Obviously more to it than that.
For sure. I get what you mean.
I mean, you can see it, right? Same kind of as plumbing, essentially. It's like, there's the pipes and here's the toilet and it's got to go there. There's the outlet. So it's got to go down here and, vent it. So it, goes. But sometimes I just feel electrical. I'm just so lost.
When we were doing the renos here at the office, and that was the start of the control panels and the
lighting control.
Oh my goodness! And they're asking me a question. How do you want this? I was like, I want to be able to flick the switch and it works. But the wiring, if you put this wire here, it's good. This one, it just fries the system and the troubleshooting aspect of it. It's impressive.
I had one at my house. I had a fucking light in my ceiling in my garage. It was a plug. Good. So it was like a linear fixture that just had a plug on it. Just plugged it in. So I didn't have a lot of plugs in my garage. And so I had like a extension cord essentially that I plugged into this thing and then ran the extension cord along the ceiling and then down to my little workbench. So then further to that, I ended up getting like a light sensor, like a sensor switch. Yeah. So you walk in the garage, light turns on. Spectacular, right? Well, I was doing some flooring one day and I plugged in my chop saw to the extension cord. It's under load and I'm, trying to cut the fucking piece of laminate. And all of a sudden the sensor switch like blows up, literally blew out of the wall. And I was like, oh my God. And so I like call up my electrician friend, one of the electrician friends. I'm like, dude, what happened? Oh my God. And he's like, well, no, you can't do that. It's not meant to have load go running through the sensor switch. I was like, oh, well, how am I supposed to know that? Again, it just goes back to the electrical thing. Like it's just so random. So that's one that I always enjoy chatting with those guys on. Sure. It's a bit of a dark art for sure. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And yeah, just keep the conversation going. So
absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's another episode for this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We look forward to coming back next time with some more exciting content for everybody. All right, take care.